Welcome to the MoMarTech monthly workshop series. On the second Thursday of every month, we will be holding free workshops on topics related to small business marketing. Today, we are discussing social media marketing for small businesses. So it's how do you create and grow a social media presence to support your business and not just get likes and clicks. Today, I am joined by Rebecca Johnson, a social media strategist who has a wealth of knowledge and experience in social media marketing. She will be providing practical tips and strategies to help you up your social media game. Before we get started, this is a workshop that's being recorded. You will receive the recording at the conclusion of today's event. Secondarily, this session is meant to be interactive, so please do share your questions, add your comments into the chat. We highly encourage that you participate. And then finally, this is a workshop, so please have a pen and paper handy or a Word doc open. We will be prompting you to write things down as we do have some exercises for you throughout the entirety of this workshop. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to Social Media Marketing for Small Businesses. The next part is community, okay? So this is like the linchpin. So the community is who are we actually engaging in and finding the right people, maybe it's other brands, partners, fans, to build our community around. Super duper important. And one of the things that I think sometimes businesses go wrong with when creating community is going into areas where we are comfortable that is really around our industry or our business. So for example, marketing, right? Like if I went into communities with other marketers, because I like tips, I like to understand what other marketers are doing and things like that. I start to follow them, right? You think, okay, I'm doing good. This is the community that I'm in. The problem is other marketers are my competitors. That's not my audience. And I see people do this a lot, right? We go into industries of which we're comfortable, but then we end up cultivating an audience that are never going to buy from us. Not only never going to buy from us, they're our competition, right? So we don't want to make that mistake. We want to go where our audience is. My audience is small business owners. So I need to be in places where small business owners are. Are those people always sort of like talking about marketing all the time? No, but they're talking about small business issues of which I can help support them in those endeavors, right? So not making the mistake of building an audience around our industry or where we're comfortable or where those conversations are happening, but really building an audience around where our target audience or ideal custom profile people, where those people actually are. We got to understand first why people are on social media, okay? People don't get on social media to buy products, right? That's not the onus. Do people buy on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and places? They do buy it, but that's not why they get on there. I don't say I'm going to get on TikTok to buy a sweater today, right? That's not what they do. They get on for other reasons, and we need to understand that and then align our content and our story with why they are actually on social media. So first of all, people are on social media to express themselves. They have some sort of self-expression. Okay, they want to get out their ideas, their points of view, their sense of style, a topic of some sorts. They want to talk about themselves or express themselves in some way. Okay, we understand that. Secondly, they're on there to seek information. A lot of people get their news from social media. Okay. Next, and probably the number one reason they're on social media is to be entertained, right? I'm winding down from a day and I'm going to doom scroll on TikTok for an hour. Okay. They're there to be entertained. Or finally, they're there to connect. I want to know what my dad's up to, my mom, my cousin, my friend, right? I'm there to find community of like-minded people on a topic of which I care about. And I want to have conversations and share experiences around that, okay? So again, as a business, you need to understand the onus of which people get on social media is not to buy, okay? They're there for some other reason. This is why kind of content creators and influencers tend to do very well. People are there to make connection and they're there to be entertained, and content creators and influencers do those things very well. That's what they're there to do, right? The question is for you is based on that type of content, how do you align that with your business values and then get them into a place, your website, where you do want to do that conversion to convert over, right? But the onus has to be you were there to help them express themselves, you were there to provide them information, you were there to entertain them, or you were there to connect with them in some sort of way. Okay. So we need to be able to build a content strategy that is not disruptive to one of those four things, right? A lot of businesses go wrong because you're disrupting their user experience, right? If you come up with an ad that has nothing to do with me, or you're trying to sell me something that I don't want, you're disrupting my experience. And users don't like that at all, okay? So the content has to align with, we need to know our audience, we need to know what they are on this social media platform for, and then we need to align our content with that. So we are not seen as a disruptive presence. We're seen as a presence who is seamlessly integrated into what they're already there to consume. Okay, so if your audience is there to be more expressive and it's about them, then the type of content is kind of more personalized content features, more user-generated content that prompts engagement from them. You ask them questions, right? The content that you're creating is really a reflection of your audience in some way or highlights them in some way. If your audience is there to seek information, then you're more in the educational realm. You provide them with tips and tricks and information and how-tos and things like that. If your audience is there for entertainment, then it's more of the content creation realm, where it's more about the storytelling and memes and behind the scene content and stuff like that. To show that any business can fall into any one of these categories, it really depends on what you're comfortable with. I know that there is a marketing agency that all they do is memes. It's just marketing advice in meme form. Okay, so like it doesn't. Just because you're a consultant doesn't mean you have to do educational content at all, right? There's a whole agency that all they do is just memes, and that's how they communicate, and they have tons of followers. So it doesn't really matter. Really what aligns with you and your business. And then connection is really about sort of highlighting you as the individual or the business, and showing kind of the achievements of your business, the audience, prompting questions, kind of doing lives and Q&As and stuff like that, building that community and that personal relationship with your audience. So know what your audience is seeking and try your best to align your content with what they are seeking, the type of content they're seeking based on why they are on that platform. And I guarantee you'll probably have a little bit more success with your content. And all of this is about also being consistent. That's also the thing. I think sometimes we want that viral content we want to pop, and that is not how social media works. If you ask anybody who ever went viral, I was on the platform for 5 years doing whatever, and then something just popped off or whatever. But, going viral is a random thing. There's no science to it, but being consistent is how you're going to win 100% of the time. So finding your audience. So just a few tips on finding your audience on social media. So your competitors are good for something. You going through their followers and see who is following them. And I wouldn't necessarily give you the advice of following the followers of your competitors. I would say understanding common traits of these people. What are their interests? What are their demographics? What are their behavior? What are the types of content they are consuming from your competitor? What do they like? Is good information to have and collect, and then finding like groups and audiences to target. Hashtags are good for finding the community of which that topic is being discussed, right? So again, but I would warn you again not to fall in the trap of going to your comfort zone or the specific topic of what you do, going where your audience is. So again, I'm not finding hashtags related to marketing, because those are just other marketing and marketing agencies. I'm finding hashtags related to small businesses and small business issues. Okay, those are the communities in which I want to be in. So for hashtags, want to fall into your audience communities and not your industry hashtags, if that makes sense. And then finding the groups and community spaces where your audience lies. These are probably my favorite. I am a big proponent. Anyone who's ever taken my workshops or taken any one of my lessons knows I'm a huge proponent of being in community and networking. Relationships is how you really grow your business. and establishing yourself in these communities as a voice in these communities or a resource in these communities is really how you leverage them. So as Rebecca was saying earlier, you don't go in there and just start selling. Okay, it's off-putting. Right? You go in there and provide resources, you provide help, you ask questions, you facilitate discussion, you become a known presence, and then you spin that off into your different channels. Hey, this is where you can find more information about me. This is where you can learn about what I'm doing. These are the services I'm offering once you establish your presence in these communities. And then other influencers and thought leaders. Again, these are a better place to kind of siphon an audience from because you know that these are people who are highly engaged and seeking whatever information is there. But they're also a place to find and facilitate discussion, to engage with, to understand what topics resonate with the common languages, nomenclature, terms, stuff like that. So using these as market research tools to go find your audience, especially on social media platforms, especially if you're new to the platform or you're not as familiar with it, how it works, I would do this sort of recon first before you just dive in and start posting. This is going to, again, help you build that audience community of which you know these people are people who want your services, need your services or product, or looking for that. I don't want to cultivate an audience of people who have no interest ever in going to be purchasing my services. That's a waste of time and effort as a business. Now, if you're your person and it's your personal life, do what you want. But as a business, we want to scale our business as effectively as possible, and that's cultivating the right people. I would rather have 50 followers who I know are my prime audience than thousands who just like the meme and will never buy from me as a business. All right, finally, it's how to actually go about building a community on social media. So some business owners are good at this, but I will have to be a little bit of a taskmaster on some businesses, right? It's very, very important to engage. This is social media, right? We are doing communities. These are networks. It is very, very important to engage with other people, okay? Comment on other people's posts, especially if they're in your target audience, okay? Like their stuff, share their stuff, okay? Be reciprocal with the engagement, okay? If somebody likes and comments on your post, say thank you, respond to them. If someone follows you, say, especially if they're like in your core audience, send them a DM saying, thank you so much for following me. If you need any help or support, happy to be there for you. I really appreciate you following us. Goes a long way and instantly starts to establish that relationship. I instantly remember you as a person or a brand just by doing that. Okay, so reciprocate the engagement. We're big on ecosystem, so promoting your main social channel on other channels. So if you have an email newsletter, hey, follow us on such and such platform. If you do video, at the end of the video, follow us on this particular platform, right? If you do email, so using your website, your email, your other channels to then also promote your main social media channel goes big. And then finally, just be a human, okay? Be a regular person. Be yourself, be authentic. You have a voice, you have a point of view, you have a story to tell, you have something to say. Just be a regular person. If you wouldn't do it to their face in person, probably a good idea not to do it on social media, okay? So think about that. You're a human first before anything else. You're not just the logo on a screen or whatever, okay? I'm going to turn it over to Rebecca to actually give you some practical tips. Rebecca's going to introduce herself, but just a little bit about Rebecca. She's a social media guru. She does this. She has years of experience in social media. I'm so glad to have her give you guys some takeaway practical advice on how to grow your social media and just how to do social media better. Take it away, Rebecca.
And now that we know who we are, who our audience is, we have some ideas about content we want to create, and we've created some content on our page. Lastly, we're going to find our audience. We're going to find our people, and we're going to engage with our community online. So prioritize looking for people who will need your services over peers and thought leaders. It's great to be in trade groups. It's great to have peers. You can share resources, you can share information, you can share findings, and maybe even get some referrals for clients or followers. But they don't really need your services. They offer those services. They're already experts. Um, who you need to find are the groups that are looking for those types of experts. So, going back to our tutor here, it's awesome if you are in an online community of other tutors. They may have some information that's useful, but they don't really need your services because they have those services. Who maybe will need your services is a group of parents who are in the PTA, or maybe a group of little league parents, or who
Mhm.
have children in your age range that you're tutoring. Um, for our stylists here, it's great if you have a community of stylists that you talk to, trade information with. But they don't really need your services. They're stylists themselves. They can figure out that problem. Who will need your services is the executive that's super smart but is so busy and so bogged down with work that maybe she's neglecting her clothing and she wants to change. Maybe it's the mother who's been out of the workforce for a while but is looking to come back in and wants to feel good about how she looks.
Mm.
Um, excuse me. I believe there was a data analyst in here. Um, I'm so sorry if I got that wrong, but I'm sure you have a great community of peers in that industry. But they already know what to do. They already know what to do there. Who may need your services though are businesses that maybe don't have the knowledge or the bandwidth to manage their data themselves, or create reports themselves, or even know what to look for in the data. So once you find these people, once you're in the group or once you get in the online community, do not make a post advertising your services,
Mhm.
especially on Facebook. A lot of times there are rules against that. Like when you join a Facebook group, you have to fill out that questionnaire. Um, they're serious. If you post your services in there as your first post, they will kick you out. And also, that's just kind of a bad look because there's probably people in there that are in other groups that you're trying to join as well.
Mhm.
Also, it just kind of comes off spammy, um, especially now with some regulations rolling back about content moderation online. In the next, I say 6 to 8 months, we're going to see a lot more bots, a lot more spam, a lot more misinformation. You just want to make sure that you set yourself apart from the rest. So, a rule of thumb here is to put the audience first and give before you take.
Mhm.
One thing you can do is poke around and see what conversations people are having. If there's a thread that has like 75 comments, people feel strongly about that. So that's a good place to go look, because if somebody comments on something, that means they really had thoughts about it.
Mhm.
Um, Maybe as you're scrolling, you see somebody asking the same questions over and over again. I'm sorry, I got to pop up. Somebody asking the same questions over and over again. Um, like for our and if you have an industry I haven't touched on here, drop it in the chat and we can come up with some tangible examples for that too. But just with who I know is in here, for our excuse me, for our tutor, if you get invited, accepted into one of these groups, or you find a good thread online, about parents talking about how low their children's reading scores are, don't drop your services just yet.
Mhm.
Maybe there's a common theme you see in there. Maybe they're struggling with the same type of passage, or maybe it's a certain time of year where they're struggling. Um, or maybe they're saying, I see my 8-year old, you know, doing great in reading, but my 10-year old is really struggling and I don't know what to do. Maybe you know something about development between 8 and 10 years old, why you see that drop. Um,
Mhm.
and also, this is a good place to just take some content ideas. Common questions, that means there's enough people that need an answer that you probably have. Um,
Mhm.
After you click around, maybe do some liking, some commenting, some wow, this is a great idea. Um, Maybe there's a conversation you can weigh in on as the expert. And this is an opportunity to share who you are, why you're qualified, and then answer their question. Just give them the answer. And if you start having a conversation from that, then that's the perfect time to say, hey, actually offer these services. If you'd like to learn more, shoot me a DM. Or maybe you can DM them if you feel like you developed enough rapport. Here is where your emotional intelligence is really going to come in. You just have to feel out the situation, kind of see if they're looking for an answer versus they just want to commiserate. Because people do come online just to commiserate with others, and
Mhm. Mhm.
that's okay sometimes. Sometimes you need that, but
Mhm.
that's not the time to offer a service or send them a calendar link.
Once again, my name is Moni. My business is Mo Martech. I specialize in marketing for small businesses. Go visit momartech.com. Tons of free resources there for you guys. We're going to do free workshops every month. Next month, we're going to be talking about advertising for small businesses. So I'll send the email follow up link to that. Hope to see you guys next month for that one. And the business is doing workshop cohorts for small business owners. Some people on the chat were in those, so they can attest to the value of the small business workshop. If you would like to build out your entire go-to-market strategy and stop chasing leads and doing cold calling and doing marketing where you can attract people to your business, our next cohort is February 20th. Head to the website, check it out. We would love to see you there. Rebecca, where can people find you?
Yes. So one, Moni, thank you so much for having me up here. I had a great time doing this. I can talk about this stuff all day, and I will if you let me. But feel free to add me on LinkedIn, shoot me a message, let me know what you thought about this. And if you want to keep working on this or work together on building your engaging, awesome social media profile and your online community, let me know.